MBA from Nova Southeastern University, and I'm currently pursuing my doctorate in education at Liberty University. Both of my parents came to New York from Puerto Rico. My father had very little formal education, but he enrolled in an ironworker trade program and had a successful career in construction for over 30 years. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and later went on to be a home health aide for the Montefiore system. My road to college had a few bumps. During my final year in high school, my mom passed away, so I was completely lost. My father, no fault of his own, did not know a thing about filling out college applications or FAFSA applications or TAP applications. So it took me over a year to decide what I really wanted to do. And back then I thought I was a computer whiz. I thought I can fix any computer. So I came across information on an MCSE Microsoft training program at Berkeley College. I went on a tour of the New York City campus and absolutely loved it. I decided to apply for an associate's degree program instead. And while the FA process seemed a little overwhelming, it really wasn't. The FA team at Berkeley at the time really helped me through the process. And thanks to TAP and Pell, I was able to complete my degrees while working full-time. Today, I have the honor of helping students that share similar backgrounds and stories reach the graduation stage. And so today we've put this panel together to share stories and advice to inspire high school students or others considering pursuing a college degree. And with that, I'd like to introduce our student panelists. We have Naomi Dunstan from Berkeley College. Please wave. We have Cadjnie Cameau from Berkeley College as well. We have Joseline Velez from the College of Westchester. We have Starr Fuentes from Five Towns College. And we have Jellissa Lacon from Monroe College. Welcome and thank you. So let's get started. This is obviously all about you and your path to college and certainly what you're going to do beyond. So let's start with just a quick introduction and hello. And when you give us your college, just tell us what program you're studying and perhaps why you started to, why you enrolled in that degree program and why is it important for you to attend college. So let's start with Joseline. Joseline, you're on mute.
Sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Joseline Velez. I attend the College of Westchester. I am on my second year of the Bachelor's in Healthcare Administration program. My expected graduation will be April 2022. Attending college is important for me because by getting educated, I will be able to advocate and help my community.
I guess I'll go next. Hey everyone, my name is Naomi L Dunstan. I do go to Berkeley College. I'm graduating this semester with my bachelor's in business administration and general business, and I plan on focusing on a career in public relations. And I chose Berkeley College really because it was affordable.
Thank you. And I think I was the first of the guilty mute. I was on mute before, so thank you for picking up on that. Starr, let's turn it over to you.
Hi, my name is Starr Fuentes. I go to college at Five Towns College for mass communications with a concentration in broadcasting. I plan on being a news anchor or a news reporter. I considered myself a multimedia journalist, so we do everything. We do articles, we do radio, we do reports, and I've been loving every single moment of it. I discovered Five Towns College by taking their summer program in high school for television and video. That's before they even had a mass communications program there, and I just fell in love between the students and the professors and the small campus. I just knew that Five Towns was definitely the place for me. And ever since then, I've always wanted to go, and now here I am. I'm a senior going into my last semester, and I'm really excited to see what the future will hold. And I also want to add on, if it wasn't for financial aid and TAP, ETA, I wouldn't really be able to go to Five Towns. I go to a private school, and it's very expensive. And my mom and I are just so grateful that we've got this opportunity with the financial aid to send me to my dream school.
And I think we can all see that Starr is the pro at this Zoom with her background. So way to go, Starr.
Thank you.
Let's turn it over to Cadjnie, please.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Cadjnie Cameau. I am a health services administration major at Berkeley College. I started in fall of 2020 and I will be graduating in spring of 2023. So in terms of attending college, I never really imagined myself like not going to college, despite like any circumstances that may have come in my way. I personally feel as if like if I did not attend college, I will feel some sort of incompletion and just at a bit of a loss, because my parents have just, ever since I've been little, they've just always taught me to just prioritize my education, and that's just been like my focus. So yes, thank you.
Thank you for that. And lastly, Jellissa, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Jellissa. I'm currently a freshman at Monroe College. I'm majoring in hospitality management and baking and pastry arts. I attended this college because I wanted a foundation in baking and pastry. I've always been interested in it, but I wanted to like be able to tackle if anything came up. I would be able to have the resources and the tools to be able to address them. And I'll be graduating in 2024 as well.
Great, thank you. And just a quick housekeeping note, at the bottom of your screen for those that are viewing, you have a Q&A box. Please go ahead and feel free to send in your questions, and myself or the panelists would certainly get to them throughout the program. So let's get started. This question is for all the panelists. It's more of a general, how did you prepare for college? And what I mean by that is, did any of you take the SATs? Were you in any special programs or courses leading up to college and high school? Any internships, right? Any special programs or community internships before college? So let's start with, I don't want to start picking on people, so whoever wants to jump in, please feel free.
I can start if you want. I remember taking a SAT test on 1992, and I don't remember a lot about it. It's very different now. It was required. It was mandatory in the Catholic school I was studying, and everybody took the SAT. I remember I did community service from 10th grade to 12th grade. It was a requirement from my school as well, and that's where I found my passion for the medical field, because I went to do community service on a long-term facility for elders that were abandoned. And that's how I learned to be passionate, to have a passion about medicine, nursing, helping others, the administrative more than anything, because they were elders that were abandoned, they struggled more. So I remember the people in charge of the house that I was helping have to ask for a lot of help, be calling places to be able to feed the elders. And I learned a lot of there, and that's where I really got my passion to become a medical health administrator as well.
All right, thank you.
I can jump in next. I also took the SATs. I took the PSATs and the SATs. I was interning at a outreach law firm, and there is where I kind of like got help with my personal essay and college tools. I spent a lot of time in my guidance counselor's office just going over what was realistic and colleges. I remember I was thinking about doing psychology when I found out how many years that was, and I was like, okay, no thank you. Yeah, we're going the hospitality route. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, also, I did do like internships and things because I went to a culinary high school. So they were able to give us resources to be placed in like kitchens. So I had like multiple internship opportunities that I was able to incorporate in my college application.
That's great. And by the way, I think you win the background award today. We love your background. So I think you win that today. Starr, do you want to go up?
Sure. So ever since I was younger, I've always been enrolled in some kind of summer camp or anything like that that could really make me hone in on the arts. I remember going to a summer program in middle school, and then when I got into high school, I remember we had a program called BOCES, which I'm sure maybe some of you are familiar with. BOCES really helped me out because I learned everything there was to know about cameras and not just being in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. I went for photography, and then I took a year and I went for videography. And then from there, I took those summer programs at my college when I was in high school. So I think I prepared myself for my program just by always being involved in some kind of summer program, or even during the school year when it came to the arts or when it came to video or television production or photography. So that's how I got my experience, and now I'm just on that same track. Here I am still loving media and loving videography. So that's how I got my start.
That's great. Thank you. Cadjnie?
Okay, so I did take my SATs, and similar to Jellissa, I was able to take a prep exam during my junior year, which allowed me to have sort of an overview of what to expect when I actually did take the official SATs. So I did take it multiple times. The first time that I took it, I felt very discouraged because I went in feeling confident, but then I did not receive the score that I was hoping for. And so I decided to take it two other times, which I ended up receiving um, scores that weren't good enough still. So that made me lose hope and motivation. Um, and so I remember, like, even before taking my SATs, when I first heard about them, I was really stressed because I thought that my SAT scores were going to play a major role in just dictating whether or not I get accepted into college overall. And as for community service and internships, I did not do any community service or internships prior to coming into college. And because of that, that just motivated me to just those, take advantage of doing that in college. And so, yeah.
So that leads me to my next question. I mean, what factors for each of you? What factors did you take into account when deciding on a college? So what were you looking for? I mean, I know from Starr, for example, it's a very specialized program that you're in. So what factors did you all look at?
I personally wanted something as close to an HBCU as possible, but I also knew that I wanted to go into the hospitality and culinary field. So I was just looking at, and I looked at HBCUs. I didn't really see anything that had like in kitchen classes that I felt like was right for me. I just seen a lot of hospitality management. So I definitely drifted towards Monroe because I realized that it was a community that I felt like I would be comfortable at. Because growing up in middle school, I went to a predominantly white school, and then in high school, it was more so Black and Latinx in that way. And so that was a space that I definitely felt more comfortable in because I felt like other students would understand, like, um, just understand my story, if we could have conversations that were more relatable. So I definitely wanted to come here. And also the smaller class sizes. I realized I'm a person who I feel like I need that interpersonal connection. So at a big school, I felt like I wouldn't get that. However, here in the kitchen sizes are like decent where it's like I can ask the chef a question. I know that they're gonna pay attention to me. I know that they're gonna know my name when I walk into class like next week. And it feels more close learning. Like we're getting to know each other. And I feel like that's a great way to be able to learn.
Just adding on to what Jellissa was saying, class sizes was definitely one of the biggest factors for me when choosing a college. So I knew that being in college with large class sizes would make it more difficult for me to just connect with my professors along with my peers. So this was important to me because I know that I'd be identified by not just not as a number, but just as by my name as well. And I'm happy to say that at Berkeley, I do feel as if I'm recognized as a student because the class sizes are very small, and my professors are also very communicative and just responsive. So that's been very helpful.
I'll hop in on this one. So my journey into college is a little unique. So going to college right after high school wasn't necessarily an option, but I always wanted to go to school. I always wanted my degree, probably a few more after this one. But I didn't have necessarily all of the support, whether it be moral support or just financial support to do any of that stuff. And so I did what I knew best, which was work, save, make a payment plan with the school. And so that's kind of been my journey for the last 14 years. It's been a long journey, but it's been a learning process. And Berkeley College is actually my third school. So Will, I know you mentioned, in your intro, it's just not having people around to know how to fill out the FAFSA. And we didn't have like YouTube and TikTok the way we do now, where you can have like references and reach out to people to do that. So I really just had to figure it out on my own. So when I came to Berkeley College, it was just about financial literacy, learning, what loans are, how to fill out the FAFSA, what financial aid programs I apply for. TAP is definitely one of them. It's been one of the things that has allowed me to stay in school and actually get my degree this time. So I've been extremely fortunate just for the learning process and, all of the work I put into it so far.
Yeah, you remind me, you remind me of the old, for those of us that remember the old FAFSA applications, there were, 5 or 6 pages, they weren't electronic, and so you had to go through that, and then you had the TAP application, and so everything was just paper. And so, luckily things are getting a lot easier and electronic, but it was difficult. And so, and from what I'm hearing from everyone, I think we all had that support at our respective campuses and financial aid offices to really complete that. So I think that's important. Anyone else?
I am not the conventional student. As you all see, I'm already like a little bit more older than all the other students here. But when I decided to go back to school, I knew I wanted to go to a small private school. I knew that. And I looked for a place that will give me an education on the medical field, that have something that I was passionate about. And also I looked for a school that will offer me as many financial aid as I could get. And it is funny because I was on my Facebook when I was thinking to go back to school, and my school popped out right away. CW popped out there, and immediately I make a connection with the school. It was like I fell in love with the school in 3 seconds, and I have not regret my decision since then.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I think, and that's a trend I'm hearing from everyone. Starr?
Yeah, so for me, there's a little bit to unpack here. When I was a high school student, I am a special education student, so I have an IEP. So trying to find a college that honors your IEP in a way where you have small class sizes as well was very important for me. And Five Towns College did exactly that. Our school is small enough where you have at least 13 kids or less inside of the class, and the classes are also hands-on. And for me, being hands-on is very important because I do enjoy, listening to a professor talk, but I also like to apply exactly what they're saying. So it's very important to be, submerged in the studios and the equipment as I'm learning. So I'm very grateful that Five Towns does just that. And of course, being in that small class size, you are able to connect with your professors, and you're able to make connections not just with the staff, but the students too. You guys become family, especially if you dorm, you become even closer. So that's why Five Towns College was a really good fit for me. Also, I struggled very, very deeply academically in high school and even a little bit in my smaller Catholic school. So going to Five Towns, I did not have to take any tests whatsoever. They really just based everything about your abilities and what you're looking to do. So they just want to see that you're serious about if you're pursuing a career in journalism like me, or if you're, a trumpet player, or if you're an actress or an actor or engineer, producer. They just want to know that you have a passion and that you're able to use that drive and make it something worthwhile, because not everyone is super academic savvy. Not everyone is great in math or science. So you want to be able to be somewhere that's nurturing your passions. And for me, that was 5 Towns, and I knew that right away.
I'm gonna hop in on this one. Starr, I really liked what you said. Cadjnie and I were talking this morning, and I was just sharing some things with her about like the learning process, and it's been a thing that I've kind of noticed that I maybe wasn't aware of before. It's just like how I learn, and I'm very much a hands-on person. I learn through a lot of my experiences, so sometimes just reading a textbook and answering questions isn't enough. And so, in Berkeley College, I've had a lot of opportunities on campus and off campus where I've kind of just been thrown into like events where I get to network and work on just communicating and speaking to people, or researching something in preparation for an event, connecting with other students. So getting that out of classroom experience kind of made me excited about I should say it kind of balanced out the experience I was having in the classroom, and I didn't feel as stressed. I felt like I could enjoy the learning process and understand the difference between the textbook smarts and then real world smarts. So that was like a really good balance for me throughout my college career.
And can you talk about some of those events that you had participated in?
Okay, that is a long list.
Give us your top 1 or 2.
Okay, so I'll go backwards. Just being here with APC and everyone, I've seen Joseline and Starr last year when we did Lobby Day. I'm joined by my good friend now, Cadjnie. So being a part of APC is a really great experience. I don't think it's something I ever expected to do. I didn't think it was something that I would feel comfortable talking about as far as like my college journey, as well as my age. So Joseline, you're not alone. And most recently, the last time I spoke at a college event, on my campus, was for Women Entrepreneurship Week. I dedicated my speech to my late grandmother, and I had the opportunity to meet New York State Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. It's experiences like that, and I have so much more just in things like clubs I've run, clubs I've been a part of, different positions I've taken as a club member. I still have friendships to this day. I've been able to make some really great connections with staff members and faculty. There's like a whole host of events. You guys can check out my LinkedIn for that. I'm not going to take up anyone else's time to speak today, but yeah.
Thank you. So one of the things, just switching gears a little bit, one of the things that, and I think it was Joseline that you raised earlier, which I think is very important, I want to spend a few minutes on for each of us, is the topic of college affordability. That's something that certainly each of us, including myself, thought of and think of and research, before attending a college. So talk to us a little bit about, your journey through the college affordability. You submitted a FAFSA application. We all spoke, I think, of TAP and the importance of TAP. So talk to us about, the grants and the financial aid process and just everything that went into researching your school for college affordability.
So when I found the College of Westchester, I look at the list of the different financial aids that they offer. And when I went to have my first meeting with one of the administrators, that was my first question. How much? He said, how am I going to pay this? My husband is the only one working now because I have to stop working to take care of my daughter for 6 years, but I want to do this. And immediately they told me, you will fill the FAFSA application, which they help you fill it out when you're new. You don't have to go ahead and do it yourself. There's financial people helping you to go through the process. You don't do this process alone. I received TAP, which is a great help for me. I received the Pell Grant.
Here's
also,
what I found online.
Sorry. I received the Pell Grant. I also received the SEOG grant from my college. and I received now the College of Westchester Achievement Award because I do work really hard. I'm a 4.0 on my school every semester. I I take very serious my education. I appreciate. I I believe it's a way for me to to thank the school for the opportunity they are giving me. So I take as much as I can, all the advantage I can, and I know there's some loans for students too. And but the schools, small schools, we think that because it's private and it's expensive, it's not affordable. No, all the administrators, everybody is there to help you afford it and be able to be there. And by knowing all the schools with the APC leadership, I have noticed all the schools here do care for all their students and do help for all of us to find affordability.
Thank you. Starr, do you want to jump in?
Sure. So for me, my mom and I filled out our application and we received TAP and ETA. And as Five Towns is a private school and it is expensive. And it was just very important for me to go to college though and go to a college that I really liked. So my mom really wanted to make it work. And she works extremely hard. We live here in Long Island, but she actually commutes every morning to Brooklyn and Canarsie for her job. She's a culinary instructor. So our deal was I do everything that it is possible to be a great student, and she will do everything in her power to make sure that I'm able to go to Five Towns and work out the financial aid. And we've been working it out ever since. My school, I'm gonna drop some numbers just so that everyone watching can get like a good feel for exactly like what we're working with when I say expensive, because there's always a definition for everyone in their own personal definition. So for my school, it's $43,000 a year. So for my degree program, it's a bachelor's degree, and that's 4 years. So for us, that's pretty expensive. And my mom has all of the help that we could possibly get when it comes to financial aid. So we got that cut in half, and we're so grateful and so thankful for that. That's why I lobby, and that's why I'm with all these wonderful people here, because I think it's so important that you watching, you can really make your dreams come true, and you just have to put yourself out there and apply, and I guarantee you will get something, or you'll even get a scholarship. Just like how I made that deal with my mom, I made it with my school. My school sees my hard work, and they have given me different scholarships to help me. So I'm very grateful for that too. So don't lose hope just because the college that you're looking for might be a little bit on the more expensive side. You can definitely find a way to make it work. I believe in you.
Jellissa, did you want to jump in and just share?
Yes, sure, of course. So I did a lot of competitions to pay for school. I know one I did was CCAP, so I did preliminaries, made it to the finals, did that, and I got a partial tuition scholarship to Monroe. And I also applied for the Black Joy Scholarship, and I won that. I did a couple others. I do have FAFSA, and I have accelerated TAP, I believe. I don't have the regular TAP, and I think that's about it. I do little things here and there for like little small scholarships to get a little bit of more, like to help out my parents, because I definitely do want to be able to help out my parents. And I'm a person who, when I want something, it's just like I don't want to have to settle for something else. I want what I want. And originally, I was thinking of going to a different school when I was in terms of first, second, and third. And Monroe was my second college. And then I came on a trip here senior year, and I was like, nah, this is now my first college. And then it was just like, I told my parents, I was like, okay, this is now my first college. I want to go there. And then I did what I could on my end to kind of make it work and try to make it affordable for my parents, which I think that Monroe isn't too crazy in terms of pricing for what it was for me. But I also definitely didn't want to just like leave that in my parents' hands. I wanted to be able to help in some sort of way. So I was just applying to little things here and there, and then I just went with them like, hey guys, this is what I have for you, you know.
I also want to quickly add one thing too. Depending on what college you're thinking about going to, some of them offer a tuition lock. Like my college has a tuition lock. So when you first enter your college in the first semester, that's the number of like amount of money that you will pay for the rest of the years to come if you keep your GPA, if you are a good student, if you know abide by the guidelines. So if you are, you know, a dependable student that gets everything in on time and, you know, follow the rules, your tuition will be locked. So we still pay the exact same amount from when I was a freshman. Now I'm a senior in my last semester. So you should always ask about, you know, tuition locks and programs and things like that, just so that you get a better understanding, because the amount of money that it might be for your college right now, it could definitely go up. But if you have that tuition lock, you're locked in. It's not going up. So that's another thing to add on.
That is crazy. I didn't even know about that. But yes, thank you for dropping that gem.
Most definitely. Dropping gems over here.
There you go. Naomi?
Yeah, so when I started at Berkeley in 2017. I was working at the time, so I had some savings. And I kind of, you know, like I said, over the past 14 years, it's been working and figuring out how I'm going to pay for school. So it's always been like a work and, you know, pay as I go kind of thing. You know, and also just figuring out how to prepare to start paying down. I do have student loans. I was able to take some out, but I didn't get them in the beginning. So when I first started, I got TAP. I think it was partial TAP. I got some Pell Grants, and I think I got a Berkeley College scholarship or Berkeley aid of some sort. So I started with 2 classes. I really focused on trying to just manage those 2. Kept my grades up, found that after 2 semesters, then I eventually got an academic scholarship. So then I was like, ooh, I can add more classes. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how this whole keep your grades up thing is working now. Okay, so we're gonna do this. So, you know, throughout my college career, I just, you know, worked towards keeping my grades up. Eventually I became full-time. And from there, I kept on getting, you know, TAP came through every single time. Pell Grants came through. Student loans came through. Some more academic scholarships came through. And then I became a federal work study. So that was also really great. I wasn't necessarily qualified for that in the beginning, but being able to work on campus and go to school was very helpful. Oddly enough, I ended up leaving my full-time job to pursue school full-time just because they were not very supportive of like my school schedule. So I ended up having to work 2 jobs throughout my college career, but it did not hinder my progress at all. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I've just gotten more and more assistance as the years rolled in. And I think also I was inquiring about things as each semester. So I kind of just wasn't filling out the FAFSA and not asking questions. I was filling out the FAFSA and asking, hey, last semester I got this grant, or I got this loan, or I got this award. Are there other programs that you guys offer, other like financial aid programs I can inquire about? And so, you know, every semester I took initiative to just ask more questions about any financial aid programs I qualified for.
I'll turn it to, I'm sorry, Joseline, go ahead.
I would also like to add that on our school, on the CW, we have, they offer a student opportunities scholarship foundation. It's like, they do this annually, and you apply for it. And this really continue to educate us on additional funds, on the way that we qualify for more scholarships.
Yeah, and you know, I was going to say, and I'll turn over to Cadjnie in just a second, but you know, to all the high school, you know, students out there watching, you know, one of the things that you should consider and certainly look at and ask for, in addition to all the research that everyone, I mean, I think that's a trend, you know, just researching and keep asking the questions. But the federal work study program that many colleges offer, you know, it's instantly it's experience. It's real world experience. You're working at the college. You're making those connections at your college, and you are you're earning salary. You're earning you know you have an hourly wage. So I think it's a really nice balance between work and school. So just for those out there, that are looking into colleges, that's an option. I took advantage of it, and it, eventually led me to my next few roles. So, Cadjnie?
So financial aid has definitely played in like it has definitely played like a tremendous role in just allowing me to come to college. I am a freshman. I'm in my second semester right now. So when I was going through the college application process last year, my mother and I were speaking about like, the locations of schools and just how much college would be costing. And I was telling her the prices, and like her reaction, just by her reaction, like I could tell like the cost of college would definitely be a big factor. And so she's always just had her head on the fact that I would have to acquire some sort of scholarship or financial aid that would help me attend college. And thankfully, right now I do have an academic scholarship from Berkeley. As well, I do as also receive TAP and Pell grants, and because of those financial aid benefits, I have been able to attend a school such as Berkeley College, and Berkeley is a private school, so it is a bit on the costly side, and so yeah.
I did it again. So I think the one of the things that we keep hearing is research, right? Look at everything that's available to you. Talk to your financial aid offices, talk to your financial literacy professionals, and really have a good understanding of what it is that your college offers in terms of scholarship opportunities. But it's not only internally, right? It's also externally, right? The scholarships that are out there that you may be eligible for. That sometimes students don't even look at. So, that's just another thing that you should ask your financial aid offices about. So, switching gears a little bit, I think all of us over the past year and a half, if not more at this point, have in one way or another been impacted by COVID, whether it's personally through family, professionally through your career, and through your academics. And so, how has your college experience been changed by COVID? I know that at the beginning, the majority of us were online, right? And so many of us may have been, a little bit more comfortable in your on-site environment with your one-on-one, and then all of a sudden you were in classes one day, and then the next day you were not. So can you talk to us, and then also too, I look at Jellissa with specialized programs. I mean, you're in a program, a more hands-on program. So talk to us about how COVID has kind of shaped your college experience, and you share. And I think that for the most part, when we do get back to normal, right? I think we've learned so much. I mean, through Zoom, for example, a year from a year ago, I didn't use Zoom as much as we do now. So talk to us about that, and let's start with Jellissa, actually.
Okay. So again, I go to Monroe College in New Rochelle. I attend the Culinary Institute of New York there, and I have labs, so in the kitchen once a week. And when I was on the competition team, it became 2 times a week. Well, sometimes 3. And we definitely had to wear masks. It was more so like, I know that the kitchen sizes were smaller, just so that we could be able to safely navigate being in the kitchen together. I know that in terms of other classes, we were at first, some of them were in person, some were virtual, so it was a combination mix. And then eventually, when the pandemic started getting a little bit worse, then they shifted everything except labs to strictly virtual. And then they've been going on and off. They've been really monitoring it, which I appreciate. I reached out to the dean, I let him know that I appreciate that they're very they're very on top of everything. So if things are getting bad, they'll be like, okay, we're gonna pause the labs this week, we're gonna switch it to virtual. And they're monitoring it, and that's how it fluctuates, whether we're in the kitchen or not. In terms of The classes though, I was nervous about starting college virtually because I'm a very like in your face, like having that connection, and I'm very like hands-on type thing. But in class, they're very supportive. They call you by name. They remember your name. I would show up to class and I've had like multiple professors just be like, "Oh, like Jellissa, how are you? How are you doing?" Or "I seen what you did for the work. I'm very proud of you." Or "That was amazing." Even in one class that I have now, in my restaurant operations class, almost every class we have him once a week from 1 to 4, so for 3 hours, and he's always saying how he loves the way that we're working in the class. He loves the work that we're handing in. He's very proud of us. Even when we engage inside of the classes, he's telling us that we sound very like we're presenting ourselves very well. We're explaining everything very well. And, he doesn't like expect us to be as engaging, but he's very proud of us and happy that we are. And honestly, that's the type of motivation that some people do need. I know there's a type of motivation that I need where like I need to know that I'm doing well because it's going to encourage me to keep doing well rather than me just doing it and thinking that I'm not being noticed, that it doesn't even matter. So I really appreciate that. And then we have Reslight, which they are doing amazing. I personally am an anxious person, and I tend to be a little bit more reserved. But they've been doing a lot, from bingo games to those, I forgot what it's called, but it's like you put in the pin and then you guys play the game, but you play from your phone. Forgot what it's called. I'm so mad, but they'll do little things, and like every day is something new. They always have something going on, and even though we're not able to be like right next to each other, they'll open a Blackboard room or they'll open a Zoom room and they'll play games. They'll give us opportunities to make friends, to connect with each other. And that has been great since the start, because even when we did start and we were able to do more things in person back in September, they would have like pumpkin painting or making a vision board for the year, which I was able to do with some of my roommates and some of my friends. And that kind of made like the college experience not feel very bland. And I definitely appreciate their efforts to kind of make freshmen and everyone else feel more comfortable, even though we are switching virtually.
Thank you. Starr?
Yeah, I'll go next. So with my school, as I mentioned before, we're an arts school at Five Towns College. So we have actors and actresses and musicians and news reporters like me and a whole bunch of crazy personalities running around the school. And it is so difficult sometimes to even fathom in my head that we're all virtual online and we're not in person, face to face with each other anymore. But I will say that my school definitely made a very smooth transition, which I wouldn't say that I'm shocked about it, but like I was definitely a little taken back. Like, how can we possibly do everything we were doing in school virtually? But for my department in particular, we have a weekly newscast, and we have the newscast in the studio, and we have some news anchors and reporters. So my professor, Holly Hare, she had us do our newscast from home, actually in this spot right here. I did my newscast, and we edited everything together at home, and then she posted it on YouTube, and it was actually streamed from Zoom, and it was also streamed from Facebook Live. So we do things like that to kind of still have that like at school feel, so we don't miss out on those opportunities, because the moment you stop reading off the teleprompter, for a person like me, going back into it, you're not as good as you used to be. You got to keep on working on your craft. And just because we're in a pandemic, like, you really need to go back, focus on what you're doing, and you can't stay stagnant. So I'm very proud of my school for not letting us stay stagnant and try to switch everything as they possibly can to the best of their abilities online, because for hands-on schools, it's definitely hard. So I definitely feel you with your culinary. Like, I feel that 100%. My mom's a culinary teacher, and she's definitely trying to manage how to, do the recipes and stuff while everyone's on home. So I understand that 100%. And when it comes to events and on-campus things, we used to have events all the time. We used to have jam out sessions. People would do stand-up comedy in the courtyard. Like, we would all be together all the time. So being virtual, my school really had to get creative when it came to campus events, but we did. We had a winter jam where people sung on Instagram Live. We just do little stuff like that, so we all see each other's faces and we don't feel so lonely being at home.
That's great. Thank you. Joseline?
Yeah, for me, it's like I have a story. My father died the same week they closed the school due to COVID. Um, and my husband lost his job due to COVID. My husband lost his job due to COVID after 20 years working in the company. COVID sent them out of business, so they have to close. And my life totally changed in a month. My father died, my husband have no job, and although COVID-19 changed our living styles and the way education is now, I have never fall behind on my classes or feel alone 1 second. My student life has continued. I have had the support. The college offer emotional support. They even gave us the student relief package. We continue our education remotely. The school offered laptops to the students that were in need of one. And also, I happen to be a peer tutor of the school. I work as a student. I know Mr. Moya was talking about it before. And we still offer one-on-one tutoring sections. So nobody is falling behind. So the school has give us all the support to still feel like we are present on the building. And that's why the College of Westchester for me is like a big family. We feel like a family and we feel safe because the school still give us all the support we need to keep going.
I'll add to this. So before the COVID-19 pandemic, I was doing a hybrid schedule. So I had some classes online and I did some on site, which, like I said earlier, kind of helped me balance between like what my learning style was. And so transitioning to completely online in the beginning, it wasn't difficult. I was like, all right, I got this. I've been doing this. I can do it. Yeah. And then the months kept going, the semesters kept going, and I found like it was becoming a lot more difficult for me to focus on my classes the way that I used to on site. And I ended up dropping a couple of classes. I did switch my major throughout this time just because of what was happening globally. I was a fashion major before switching to general business. And so I made the switch. And then also the classes were different when I made that switch to general business. There was a lot more research and writing that I wasn't accustomed to. So, I'm doing the work. It's still challenging, but I definitely have taken more advantage of just reaching out to my peers in this online setting. As a federal work study, on my shift, I would get calls, and I didn't know this, that a lot of students didn't have access to computers. So throughout this process, also learning what the school has been doing in response to the COVID-19 pandemic has been really eye-opening because it made me think about, what other people are going through. It's like, I know I have my own struggles, and I'm trying to focus on getting everything done, that this person is dealing with this and this person is dealing with that. And so it's been definitely eye-opening to understand other students' experiences. But, I am still taking advantage of all of the support the school offers, in terms of, tutoring. Again, I reach out to my peers that I've done some, student life stuff with. They've been very helpful and supportive, and just kind of creating a virtual network in a sense. So yeah, it's been really cool to see how, our students still find a way to come together and offer support to each other. Because, the school is also doing it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So for me, my experience with online school overall, I've honestly really liked it. I'm majoring in health services administration, so it's not as hands-on as like Starr's major and Jellissa's major. So I do enjoy being online because I do not have to travel to get to my classes because all of my classes are just on my computer or like my phone, and they're just so easy to just access. I personally do not like having to commute to the city from my house to get to school. Um, and I also have I just feel as if like just this being in this virtual space has just brought my school to me and my house without me having to go to it. And I'm also able to just I feel like I'm able to be more involved within my school because I am at home. It's so easy. It's so much easier for me to just access like the different events that the school hosts. So like every week there's like a weekly calendar sent out, and on each day there's like different events that the school is organizing, like different social events that students can go and just like and interact with each other or just learn a thing or two. And so I've been able to participate in those events, and I've also been given opportunities for myself where I can just go and network and just develop more as a person, which I've been extremely thankful for. And yeah.
Thank you. So switching gears a little bit, I'm getting notices that we're about 10 minutes out. So switching gears a little bit, and let's talk about life after college. You know, what are you all looking to do after you graduate? And I think, you know, a number of us, I know, Naomi, you're graduating in a matter of weeks. So what's the horizon? What does it look like for you? And you know, and this really goes for everyone. What are your next steps? And to those students that are watching out there, what would you tell them?
I think we're at like 7.5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So
Okay.
I'm counting down.
Okay.
I do plan on focusing on a career in public relations, and you know, it's like I'm scouting people are scouting me, so it's been this whole conversation over the last couple of weeks, and I'm not exactly sure what field, but I do very much enjoy education. I have a love for fashion education. I have a love for fashion styling, so I am doing some certification programs outside of Berkeley College in preparation for that. And I really just plan on tying in everything that I have been doing on the college campus into the real world. I haven't kind of made my business plan yet, but I'm sure in looking back at my resume and all of the development that I've gone through in this past 3.5 years is really going to help me focus and figure out what my plan is. But nonetheless, I'm pretty confident about my exit, you know, regardless of what's happening in the world today.
So am I.
I guess I'll go next. I graduate in June. My school got a little bit pushed back because of the pandemic. So instead of going in May, we're all, you know, together for an extra month in June. But my plans are right now, I actually got an internship, which I'm really excited about and grateful for the Women on Air organization. They support women and journalists and broadcasters, and we basically promote them and what it is that they're doing and making sure that, you know, all the women have a seat at that journalism table. So that's what that organization does, and I'll be their spokeswoman on their social media platforms, so like Instagram lives and things like that. So I'm excited to start that. And another one, I just recently got a call to be an intern for a local studio over here in Long Island. There's a television host who needs some extra hands, so I'm excited to be working with her. And as for a job, I'm just, you know, looking and applying for multimedia journalist jobs. I have some connections just by being a student at Five Towns. Our professors are actual news anchors and reporters, so I'm excited to see what kind of doors that will open. But for the most part, you know, you just gotta really get yourself to get out there. I always say when it comes to Five Towns, and I'm sure you could say it with your own colleges as well, it's really what you put into it, that's exactly what you'll get out of it. I know that I've had so much great experience at Five Towns with the multimedia industry. I know that I will be successful, and I know that you will be successful too. Don't give up. College is the right path for you if that's what you're choosing to do, and there's a way to do it. So I'm rooting for you.
I don't know about you all, but I think one day soon I'm going to turn on my TV and I'm going to tune to like 2020 and I'm going to see Starr there. So that's awesome, Starr. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Who else? Joseline, do you want to say something?
Sure. As I said before, I graduated on April 2022, and My plans is to open an office for advocacy. I want to advocate on the medical field, advocate families that are in disadvantage or minority. And my advice to all the students here today is like to choose a career for which they have a passion, that they're passionate about, to look for the best setting for them, what is best for them to study, and to be proactive on their education and not procrastinate. And just remember that you don't have to do great to start or be great to start. You only need to start to become great.
That's great, Joseline, and thank you. And that's where we're winding down to the last few minutes here, and I want to spend a few minutes on just advice. Really, the path to college is different for all of us, and I think we heard a number of different stories today. So, what would you tell the listener? What advice would you give the listener today? That high school student that's out there that is looking, like you said, through different colleges, looking at maybe in-state or out-of-state, looking at affordability. What would you offer in terms of advice? So let's start with Cadjnie.
So for advice, I definitely just suggest that you all just continue to just start to take the initiative and just to never give up, because of course there will be a lot of obstacles, or just some, if not a lot, but just persevere and just be resilient. So for me, like I mentioned earlier, I took my SATs, and the scores that I received on them, they definitely unmotivated me and just made me lose hope. But that did not stop me, because as I am a college student today, and I'm very happy to say that, I am here today pursuing my education in an institution that has offered me just countless opportunities, that has enabled me to grow and to network. So when you guys do get into college, just put yourself out there, try to step out of your comfort zone, and just so you can not get in your way of just trying to achieve and accomplish your goals. So.
Anyone else with some advice?
I'm gonna back Jeannie up on that one. I mean, I mentioned it's taken me 14 years to reach this point in my college career, and I wouldn't change that for anything. I wouldn't have changed anything that happened. I wouldn't take away any of the learning experiences, all the trials and obstacles. Sometimes when you start at one school, it doesn't work out. It doesn't mean that college is not it for you. It just means that maybe that environment wasn't it. And so you just keep going. One of the professors mentioned in a panel earlier this week, Dr. Hargrove, it takes a lot of grit to be a college student and just pursue your degree. So, you'll learn a lot about yourself throughout the process. College is not easy. It's not for everyone, but if it's something that you can do, and you need to find your support in order to do it, you need to find that support. And sometimes it's going to be your family members, it's going to be your friends, and sometimes it's not. So you guys just keep asking questions, keep going to different institutions, see who can answer your questions and can give you all of the resources that you're looking for in order to do it.
Thank you. And I think with that, I don't want to be switched off. So I want to thank you all for participating today. I think I can speak for your respective colleges and say that we're all so very proud of what you've achieved, what you are going to achieve after you graduate. And so thank you for participating today. Thank you for sharing your stories. And thank you to the New York State Association of Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Legislators, and to the Association of Proprietary Colleges. So thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
All right, folks, you are clear. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, too.